Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's the simple things in life, like learning love again. It's the simple things in life, like finding where it all began. Oh, do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? History. Now we going back. He done on my back for sure. When I let the truth go, we gon' let them know. My people on my back for sure. I hold them.
Hey, we're back. Welcome to the show. If you're on, welcome back. Set some things up real fast before we start. I had a lot of books. I had the brothers had the copy, so thank you for bearing with us. We're just gonna jump right into it. This is the slave ships. I almost forgot. We got the slave ships. I'm sorry, I'm anxious. You are now tuned into
our Hidden History Radio Show.
Yeah, so we're gonna deal with the slave ships. I didn't get a chance to touch on it last time. Hopefully I get a chance to touch on it this time. So let's jump into the book, Slavery in the Arab World. I want that book, Slavery in the Arab World, because that book holds a lot of stuff. I want page 2. We're going to read page 2 to 4.
Thank you, Manny.
All right, page 2 to 4. By Murray Gordon.
What page, D?
Page 2.
Page 2.
Page 2. We're going to read 3 to 4.
That's page 10.
Please tell me I have page 2.
All right.
You don't have page 2.
I blame it on Officer Manny.
Already.
Wow. Just get and talk, y'all. I'm going to send some more stuff to them while we find it.
Oh, man. Hey, give me, let me see what pages I had sent. Let me see here. Hey, go to the group real quick. Hey, give me that book, West African Countries and Peoples. West African Countries and Peoples. Oh, he found it. So hold on, Deacon. Where was it? Why? How come it's not with the rest of the pages? Why is it out of order? What's going on?
We got it from the old class. That's why.
Oh, so y'all had it before?
Yeah, I sent them before. I bought the book here before. I had them copy all the pages out of it, so I got to keep bringing the book back over and over and over again.
So make sure that page go with the rest of the book so it be organized. All right.
Thank you, Officer Manny.
Where you want me to start, Deke?
Hold on. Before you start, I want to send something really fast out in history, real quick on the tell. You heard?
You know what's crazy about this, right?
What's that?
That people don't believe in the slave ships. How the hell we got spread throughout the world in slavery?
Because
Because there was no airplanes.
We walked.
Or did we swim across the ocean?
Yes.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Swim very fast.
We don't even listen to those.
It makes no sense.
We swim very fast. Get page 2. Niggas are stupid. Page 2, you got that's not what I want, but just hold on to that. That's for the put that in the atlas. The atlas
folder.
Put it in the folder there. Put it in there. That's the introduction. Read that. Start from
As the trade.
Yeah.
As the trade in each succeeding year bounded forward, and as the economic stakes in the service, manufacturing, and shipping industries, which were dependent upon the trade, multiplied, competition among the key actors, notably Portugal, England, France, Spain, and the United Provinces, for a share in the business intensified.
So these European nations are deeply involved in the slave trade. Read on.
Countless volumes have been written about the transatlantic trade that resulted in the greatest forced
Start from the routes are all too familiar. Start from the next paragraph. Next statement.
The routes are all too familiar, so much so that every school child in the West has at one time or other learned about the triangular trade. This followed a course that originated in one of the many ports and inlets along Africa's sinuous west coast. It was at such places as Comenda, Shama,
Elmina Castle,
or Lagos, on the dreaded Bight of Benin.
Keep Benin in mind. We're gonna visit that. We're gonna revisit that again. Go ahead.
That captains of slave ships would cast anchor and stand off, waiting weeks, sometimes months, for their full complement of Negroes, or as it was commonly referred to, waiting to be slaved.
Wow. Go ahead.
Innocent victims of a system they could not begin to comprehend, these misfortunates were either seized in early dawn attacks on villages by raiding parties.
Raiding parties were Ishmael and Ham, Arabs and Africans, Arabs and Hamites. Ishmaelites and Hamites were raiding Negro communities. This book was brought to y'all in an encyclopedia where it says Arabs and Hamites would raid Negro or Israelite communities. Go ahead. That's the raids. Go ahead.
Are sold by African middlemen and then marched.
Avaricious mean African middlemen, Hamites. Go ahead.
Avaricious African middlemen and then marched in fetters to the coast.
We were marched in fetters. The fetters are the wooden or iron. Iron. Go ahead. Go ahead.
To the coast where they were bartered for the white man's artifacts.
Right. The Arabs and Africans. Go ahead.
The ships that were waiting offshore for their human cargo had brought an assortment of goods from New England and the West Indies that included cloth, glass beads, knives, brassware, rum, and firearms. Mm-hmm. African human capital was exchanged for Western consumer goods.
Go to the next page.
Usually, the Negroes were then stored as so much merchandise in one of the 40 or so factories or trading posts that Europeans began building in the late 15th century for the purpose of promoting trade.
Revelation 18 real quick. Revelation 18 regarding this. Revelation 18 says merchandise. Usually the Negroes were then stored as so much merchandise in one of the 40 or so factories or trading posts that Europeans began building in the late 15th century. Read that.
Revelations chapter 18 and verse 11. And the merchants of the earth
merchants of the earth are the nations you read earlier. England, Spain, Portugal, France, Denmark, Arabs, Hamites. These are merchants of the earth. Go ahead.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her.
Because the her is Babylon the Great, which we know of today as United States of America, is Babylon the Great. When America is in flames, on fire, nuclear fire. Go ahead.
For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
Come on.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple.
Fine linen and purple, come on.
And silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood.
If you examine, most of these things you're reading about in this verse all come from Africa. They're highly abundant and heavily sourced out of Africa. Heavily. That's what it's talking about. America, if it were not for Africa, most of these European countries would be third world countries.
Right. How about that clip with you?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I'm glad you said it. But yeah, read on.
And of brass and iron.
Brass, iron, it's all Africa, come on.
And marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments,
Come on.
and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and bread and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves.
And what?
And slaves.
And slaves.
And souls of men.
Slaves and souls of men. Slave. We probably won't deal with the slaves. Slaves and the souls of men. Now, the souls of men is a heavy verse. That part alone is spiritual in itself. The souls of men is here as well. Damn demons and all kind of wickedness. But the slaves part, the slaves, they bought most of these things you read about that are merchandise or trade all come out of Africa, including us. We were the merchandise. It says here, we are the merchandise, are so much merchandise. It says usually the Negroes were then stored as so much merchandise. We were merchandise. We were the stocks. We were the bonds. All the old money that these guys possess, these rich families, wealthy, not even rich, I'm sorry, that's the understatement. These wealthy families have old money that goes back to Negro merchandise. Now, I'll show y'all how this politician, what he said in this clip right here, obviously I can't share with us, what he says here. Watch this. Check this out. Check this clip out with this politician, what he says. They call it a Freudian slip.
Y'all got it?
Give us a moment. Give us a moment. These guys, they tell on themselves, man. They tell on themselves. All right? So, you ain't got it yet?
It's on the Telegram group.
So, like I said before, these countries, whether it be the Arabs, the East Indians, Iran, Iraq, these guys profit off our slavery. Go ahead. Play the clip. Yes, come on.
Bringing American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting.
Wow.
We can keep exploiting. We can keep exploiting. Go ahead.
So that we can exploring get these minerals. Bringing American.
Yeah, play it again.
Guy, man. Oh, man.
Slip of the tongue, huh?
So we can exploit. That's all, folks. Go ahead.
American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting. So that we can exploring where we can get these minerals.
Trying to figure out a word to replace it.
Yeah.
So that was a U.S. senator, by the way.
That was a U.S. senator. Give me Daniel 11 and 32, man. Now, oftentimes when you read Daniel 11, it's talking about Antiochus, but Antiochus as himself, as an individual, is an allegorical figure in the Bible. He's a real person. But him particularly, the Most High uses as a symbol or an allegory for the behavior and the actions of Edom as a whole and what they do. The things that he did to our people during the time of the Greeks is what Esau did to our people throughout the time he came into power. Okay? Antiochus was the worst. Read that, Daniel 11, verse, what did I say? 30?
You said 32?
32, read that, yes.
Daniel chapter 11 and verse 32.
Regarding the exploiting.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries.
Corrupt by flatteries goes into bribery, money, extortion, flatteries. Go ahead.
But the people that do know their God shall,
the righteous Israel, go ahead.
Shall be strong.
To fight against them. Come on.
And do exploits.
And do exploits. That's what I want. That's what I want. Give me 28. Go to verse 28. 28.
Verse 28.
28, yeah. 28.
Then shall he return into his land with great riches.
Right, it's Antiochus. Go ahead.
And his heart shall be against the holy covenant.
Against our people. Go ahead.
And he shall do exploits.
And he shall do. Go ahead.
And return to his own land.
That's what Edom does. They do exploits. They exploit Africa and return back to Europe and take the resources back to their land. That's what they do. That's what Antiochus did with us. They did it to Africa. France did it. Spain did it. Portugal does it. America does it. All the European nations. Russia's doing it now. China's doing it now. This is what they do. They'll come into Africa, make deals, quote unquote deals, and do exploits and return back to their land with our resources. Revelation 18. This is what they do.
day, that's your Berlin Conference.
Yeah, Berlin Conference.
They all came together and took different portions of Africa. All right, like Britain took Nigeria, France took Mali. So yeah, Portugal. The Portuguese took. There you go. The Portuguese took Santa May, Angola, stuff like that. So
then they came to the Americas and they took North America, they took South America, Central America, they took Canada, whatever part that is, North America really, took Canada, whatever. Then they went to Israel and said, we're gonna take this portion from that Arab, we're gonna take that portion. It's the same thing, man. Balfour Declaration.
That's
Balfour Declaration. That's it for Israel, and Berlin Conference is Africa. This is what they do. The exploits.
Daniel 11:14.
Yes. I got it for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 39. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain.
Right. Divide the land for gains going into Africa and the Americas too. And Israel too. They divide the land for gain. This is what they do. Anywhere Israel was, they take it and divide it for gain. Anywhere we were, they take it and divide it for gain. Africa, divided for gain. Israel, divided for gain. America, divided for gain. Because they know wherever our people are, God is there. Right. And if our people are there and God is there, there's wealth there, blessings there. Blessings that we're unaware of because we're in our ignorance, we're in our sin. We don't know. But wherever Israel is found, God will bless us. The land is plentiful, it's fruitful. Even in our sin, the Most High said, okay, yeah, give him rain, give him fresh crops. Wherever you find us, you'll find blessings of the heaven, blessings of the earth, wherever we are located. Except Israel. Israel's desolate. It's outside of that. They gotta take resources somewhere Israel is and fly it into Israel because that land is dead.
Hey,
all right.
Hey, Deke, that's another reason why Jeremiah 50:33 says they refuse to let them go.
Yes, that's exactly why.
Like you had Marcus Garvey, because you hear today white people always saying, "Well, if you don't like what's going on in America, go back to Africa." Mm-hmm. But Marcus Garvey tried that.
Yep.
And they refused to let us go.
Yeah, for that reason. Where we going to next? We don't go back to the book. Page, you're at the most famous.
Yes, sir. The most famous and enduring of these trading posts was Elmina, the mine, which King John II of Portugal ordered, built in 1482.
So King John II of Portugal was the one that expelled the Jews. He's one of them that expelled the Jews. Okay, this is he was ordered to build this Elmina Castle in 1492. In 1492. Remember, the expulsion took place about maybe, I think, 10 years before. No.
Yeah, 10 years after.
10 years after this. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there was always expulsions, but the main one that we know of is 1492.
Yeah, yes.
As part of a carefully conceived plan to establish a monopoly of trade along the coast, what King John had in mind was Africa's fabled gold. Elmina, located along Ghana's coast, proved no disappointment and for a while yielded the expected bonanza. Trade in gold and ivory, the principal exports from Elmina in the early days, soon gave way to traffic in slaves. During the latter part of the 16th century, the transatlantic slave trade rapidly escalated, supplying labor to the Portuguese plantations and mines in Brazil and to the Spanish plantations in the Caribbean.
So it says what King John had in mind was Africa's fabled gold. Revelation 18, I'm telling you. Fabled Elmina, located along the Ghana's coast, proved no disappointment for a while, yielded the expected bonanza of what? Resources. Trade in gold, ivory. That's in Revelation 18. The same exact things you're reading. That's in Revelation 18. It's in the same place. Ivory. Go ahead. Principal exports from Elmina in the early days. I'm sorry, continue. Because I was reading something else. Read during the latter part.
During the latter part of the 16th century, the transatlantic slave trade rapidly escalated, supplying labor to the Portuguese plantations.
They were the first of the Europeans to start it off in Africa. Go ahead, set foot there. Go ahead.
And mines in Brazil.
They got to Brazil.
And to the Spanish plantations in the Caribbean.
Now, keep Brazil in mind because Brazil is very important regarding these Portuguese plantations in Brazil. I'm going to show you who the people were. Go ahead.
It was in the dreary dungeon of Elmina and similar factories where the captive Negroes were kept until a slaver from across the ocean appeared on the scene. Mm-hmm. The great majority resignedly accepted their uncertain fate. Those who refused to submit were placed in a tiny, dark cell.
Damn, the hole. Go ahead.
Without food or drink. Each succeeding day, their defiant shouts, which pierced the quiet of the courtyard, became weaker until death spared them from a life of ignominy and the overseer's whip. After the terms of sale were negotiated, the purchased slaves were branded and then taken to one of the offline ships, which would transport them across the Atlantic. Those who survived the approximately 12-week trip across the often storm-swept Atlantic
3 months. Go ahead.
Were again sold to toil forever as slaves in the plantations of the sugar islands that dotted the Caribbean or in the cotton fields of the southern states of the United States, where the system of slavery held sway.
Next page. Page is this? 3. Go to page 4. Come on.
You want that bottom paragraph?
I want there. Yep.
Yet, centuries before, the first ship flying the flag of a European country slipped out from one of the numerous inlets along Africa's west coast laden with human cargo. The peoples of North Africa, Arabia, and the Persian Gulf were forcibly transferring large numbers of blacks down the Nile to Egypt and across the network of the vast Saharan
trade. Go to the top of the page. Okay, go down. It says, yet centuries before, the first ship flying the flag of a European country slipped out from one of the numerous inlets of Africa's west coast. This is as the peoples of North Africa, Arabia, and the Persian Gulf were transferring large numbers of blacks. So the people of North Africa, Arabia, and the Persian Gulf, who was this doing this? This is Ishmael and Elam doing this. And Ham. North Africa, Arabia, and the Persian Gulf, they were forcibly transferring our people who lived in these areas. When we fled from Spanish Inquisition, we fled from Spain and Portugal, we fled into West Africa. And we ran into the hands of the Arabs that were there, or we ran into the hands of the Hamites that were there. And they enslaved us. So while we're in chains under them, the Portuguese came into Africa, began to colonize and take parts of Africa for themselves, came across this cargo and said, hey, you guys in the trade? Ham and Ishmael was like, hell yeah, we want to trade. And that's how trade began. And they began to do what? It says the peoples of North Africa, Arabia, and Persian Gulf were forcibly transferring the large numbers of blacks down the what?
The large number of blacks down the Nile.
Down the Nile. Down the Nile. Because Israel lived along the Nile. We lived along the Nile. It's Zephaniah 3 and 10. Zephaniah 3 and 10.
Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia.
The rivers is the same thing as the lake. The rivers, go ahead.
From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering.
The rivers of Ethiopia is the Nile, the white Nile into the blue Nile. That is the rivers it's talking about, the Nile. Go back. So Israel's all along this river, always. Go back. Go ahead.
To Egypt.
To Egypt. Go ahead.
And across the network of the vast Saharan trade routes.
And against the network of the vast Saharan trade routes. Saharan slave trade routes. Go ahead.
From West and Central Africa to the countries of the Maghreb.
The Maghreb is Northwest Africa. That's what that is. Go ahead.
And decades after the last slave ship sailed westward to the Americas and the West Indies.
So decades after the last slave ship, because remember slavery was abolished, sailed westward to the Americas and West Indies. Go ahead. Where slavery had been abolished. Go ahead.
Where slavery had been abolished by the early 1870s.
Watch this.
Arab dhows.
Arab dhows. Arab dhows. Those are Arab slave ships. For you idiots that are saying slave ships did not exist. You had slaves being shipped to the West. After the slave trade was abolished, you had slave ships shipping us over to the East, the other side of the world. The unspoken of slave trade, the Indian Ocean or Trans-Pacific slave trade. Go ahead.
Were furtively moving out of Zanzibar, Mombasa, and other East African ports.
Other East African ports. What ports? Slave ports. Slave docks where they had dhows. The Arabs had us all packed in little ships in the bottom, just like Esau did. I'm going to show you. I got descriptions. Go ahead.
following the familiar Indian Ocean routes.
Indian Ocean trade. Go ahead.
For the consignment of ebony.
They didn't call us slaves. They called us ebony because it was outlawed. The British outlawed slavery. The Americans outlawed slavery, so they had to hide it. It was a covert slave trade going on. They said, we're going to ship the ivory across the ocean. I mean, the ebony. Ebony mean black. Across the ocean. They called us ebony. That was the term for us. Read on.
The masters of these fast lateen-rigged ships, which were methodically packed in sardine-like fashion.
Stop. They were methodically packed in sardine-like fashion with men, women, and children. Like the same ones brought across the Atlantic Ocean, we were packed the same way in the Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean. That's what y'all don't understand. You Negroes talk about the slave trade never exist, the slave ships don't exist. Y'all are some kind of retard. Something wrong with you. You are ashamed of your culture. Read on.
Maneuvered skillfully in invading the small force of British sloops.
Why? Because the British were the first ones to abolish slavery, and America followed soon after. Then Brazil. So when the Arabs were shipping us off as slavery, the British Navy would sail across the same ocean because they gained power over that, or dominion over that sea, and they would intercept these ships and find us on the ships in the bottom and arrest the slave owners or traders. That's what they were doing. It says the British sloops. Go ahead.
Charged with the impossible mission of interdicting this illicit trade.
Because there was illicit traffic, because it was illegal by this time. It's the late 1800s. Go ahead.
The blacks caught up in this trade were fated to be sold in the slave marts of Arabia.
We were fated to be sold in the slave marts of Arabia. That includes Mecca. Go ahead.
The Persian Gulf. The Ottoman Empire.
Turkey. Go ahead.
And India.
When Bishop traveled to Turkey, I believe he went to Ephesus, they did a tour, and the guy said, yeah, this is where they had their slaves working here. Right. It was a plantation. It was a field. They had slaves there. And they were buried there too. So it says the slave marts of Arabia, Persian Gulf, Ottoman Empire, and India. This is not spoken of in history books. I mean, in school. History books in school. It's not taught. You're learning it today. But the slave ports, they docked us off in Arabia, Persian Gulf, Ottoman Empire, India, Egypt, Zanzibar, Mombasa, East Africa. That's what was going on. Relatively, go ahead, little as what?
Relatively little has been written about this facet of the slave trade. Although the number of blacks who fell victim to Muslim slave traders can never be determined, there is little doubt that the figures ran to several million.
Stop. It says Muslim slave traders. Not just regular Arabs. Muslim. I have not forgotten about them. This whole series revolves around the Muslims. I don't like Ishmael. I don't like them. Or Elam. I love my people who are involved in Islam. I love my people. Those are my people. I love them. But the ideology and the people that they follow, where that ideology stems from, I don't like them. Because these guys had us as slaves. They didn't care. They didn't care about us being Muslim. Islam, when they used us, once they were done with us, they started to enslave us. We were the majority of the Islamic armies that conquered most of Africa and Spain. Once they took what they wanted, like Esau does, they'll use you, then get rid of you. That's what happened. Especially when the Turks came into power. It was a wrap. But read on. Several millions, go ahead.
Several millions over the centuries that the traffic was carried on. Between 1770 and the end of the 19th century.
1770 and the end of the 19th century. That's yesterday. End of the 19th century is what's that? 2000s?
Yes.
This is war!
The end of the 19th century is the late 1800s.
1800s. Yeah, 1800s. That's still, we already free, quote unquote.
Only 100 years ago.
100 years ago. Go ahead.
The period about which most is known about the Indian Ocean traffic.
The Indian Ocean traffic. It says little is known because it's hidden. Go ahead.
It has been estimated at approximately 1.25 million blacks.
That's a lot of Negro. 1.25 million. That's a lot of people. Go ahead.
Were shipped to Africa's east coast, Kenya and
Tanganyika.
Tanganyika.
That's Tanzania today. Kenya and Tanzania today. Go ahead.
Slightly less than half this number was exported to destinations outside Africa.
Outside Africa. Go ahead.
With the balance accounted for by the proliferating demand by plantation owners on the coast.
Watch this.
The introduction of the clove culture in Zanzibar.
The introduction, they had clove plantations, clove in Zanzibar. The clove culture in Zanzibar. Keep that place in mind, Zanzibar. Go ahead.
By Omani Arabs in the early part of the 19th century, transformed the island into a major importer of slaves.
Zanzibar was a heavy slave port. And a lot of the ships or dhows came from there, from which the British would always intercept to stop them from selling us across that ocean. It didn't stop. It's still going on today. It hasn't changed. It's just more covert. Go ahead.
As this market grew in importance and with demand for slaves from the more traditional markets in the Muslim world, continuing undiminished.
In the Muslim world, bro. Come on, man. Go ahead.
The East Coast and its vast hinterland took on an even greater importance as a source for slaves.
Come on.
So thoroughly were many parts of the region combed by Arab slavers.
So thoroughly were the many parts of the region of the East Coast of Africa combed. I mean, they weren't just grabbing up any people from Africa. They were grabbing particular people out of Africa. Because when you comb, you're trying to get certain things out of it. Go ahead.
By Arab slavers.
Arab slavers. Go ahead. Watch this.
That whole areas were depopulated.
Whole areas were depopulated. Where no one was left. Like Lamb.
They took all of us.
They took all of us out of there. That's why in that map it says once a Jewish colony. But they took everyone out of there.
This is war.
Everyone out of there. Go ahead.
Africa was exporting its human capital through other routes as well. Uncounted thousands were shipped across the Sahara to Barbary.
To West Africa. Go ahead. From Sahara from the desert to Barbary. Go ahead.
Down the Nile to Egypt. And from ports on the Red Sea to Arabia. Many were sold as slaves.
But how ironic is it that Israel escaped slavery through the Red Sea, and now we end up being sold in slavery throughout the Red Sea? The Most High, man, he is a very, very sarcastic God. You want to play with me? Okay, I delivered you through the Red Sea. I'm going to deliver your ass back and save you through the Red Sea. How you like that? The Most High don't play, bro. He don't play. Go ahead.
Many were sold as slaves in these countries, and untold others were resold to traders who transported them to Turkey.
Now we both, that's Afro-Turks.
Syria.
Afro-Syrians.
The Persian Gulf region.
Go ahead.
And as far east as India.
As far east as India. Go ahead.
In light of this, it is puzzling.
That'd be your CDs. That'd be your Dalits. That's what that's talking about. Go ahead.
In light of this, it is puzzling indeed that the Muslim-dominated slave trade has been shunted off into an obscure corner of historiography.
Hidden. Secretly. Go ahead.
This dimension of the slave trade, it is worth noting, is not unique in the relative neglect it has suffered from at the hands of Western historians.
Western historians won't touch it. They hide it. Go ahead.
There's been a similar tendency to gloss over the widespread practice of slavery and the extensive traffic in slaves that were carried on in Africa itself.
They're hiding it. They hide it on purpose. Now, get me the maps for the same book. There should be maps from this book I told you to get. I'm going to show y'all. It's maps. Right in the beginning of the book. If you don't have them, you're going to have to just take a picture of them. They're all on the front. I should have them. If you don't have them, take a picture of them now. Is the book over there? It's not even over there. I thought you had to take a picture of the books, of the maps.
Hey, Deke.
Yeah.
That's how we know that Psalms 83 is true.
Let me see if I have it. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Where it says that they are confederate against you. Because even American history, they know, like Deacon brings out, about esoteric information.
I'm going to send it to you. I have them.
The elites have that information about who was involved in the slavery of the Israelites. But the only other part of the slave trade that they'll ever teach you is that, Africans put Africans in slavery, right? Uh-huh. They won't tell you anything about the Silk Road slave trade, the Sub-Saharan slave trade, the Indian Ocean slave trade, because all those nations have a confederacy against Israel.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. gonna send it to you right now. Hold on. I'm sending you the last two. Sorry about that. I don't think I sent them to you. I think I sent them to myself and thought I sent them to you. My fault. You should have them now. All three. All right. You got the maps? And we get them. This is in the same book. This is in the very beginning of the same book here. To show that they say, oh, there's scarce information we have regarding it, but you got maps though. Okay. Blow it up some more so it fills the page. There we go. Sorry, bring it out some. There we go. You see it says you got Timbuktu right there. Remember the old map, it was Yehuda right above that. Yehuda's right there. Right. So these dots here are markets, slave markets. Right near Timbuktu is. You got all the black dots are slave markets. Principal ones. And then you got caravan towns or camps. But the main one you want to focus on is the black dots. And you see slave caravan routes. These black lines are all slave routes out of Morocco. This is wherever Israel was. Number says that they combed. So if you see these reports here, Timbuktu, Mogador, Tangier, Morocco, that's the Maghreb. Algeria, you got Tunisia, Tripolitania, which is Carthage pretty much, Fezzan, Kanem, see, go down to Kanem right there, Kanem, that's Kanem Bornu Empire. Well, it was an empire, they destroyed it. You got, go to Darfur, there's a post, you got Zuber. Go over, you got Abyssinia, a slave port there. Hausa, there. Not Somalia, because that's Ham, really. Go up, you got Oman to the right. Yep, Yemen. Okay, you have Baghdad. Look at Baghdad. Go up to the top. Baghdad, you were there too. Your Mediterranean. Going up North African trade routes. What else you got here? Go down to Congo, to the bottom. Congo, to the bottom, right there. Congo, right there, where the bulk of us are sold from. So I'm just showing you guys that that they have maps. Now, how do they get these maps? Because they found the documents. They try to play it off. Oh, this scarce information regarding. No, it's not. Where do you find these maps from? Stop doing that.
They have everything.
They just try to convince you there's not because if they reveal everything, it'll show how many millions of us they had. They try to buffer it. Oh, it's scarce. Maybe a few thousand here. No, it was millions. Millions of us sold off. Go to this next map here. You got the slave traffic in the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. You know about the Atlantic. Oh, it's transatlantic, triangular. We all know that. Mm-hmm. But not the Indian one. Not the Trans-Pacific one. That they're not going to reveal to you. But we're going to reveal to y'all today. That's right. Out in history, we're going to bring it out. This is going to be the place where you're going to find history that you never learned before in school.
Yeah.
All right. So you have Indian Ocean. Let me see. Go to the bottom, so I can see what I'm looking at. Go to the bottom part. No. Let me see. Yeah, it says exports of cheap European food products. So those are the black lines there. We don't care about that. We want the dotted lines, slave routes. So you got Brazil. So you got Mozambique to Brazil. So go to Mozambique. It took us from Brazil. So a lot of our people who are taken from the Southeast Africa were brought to Brazil. I didn't know that. I thought most of us was in Angola were brought to Brazil. Nope. Yeah. Mozambique. You have from, let's see, you got Pemba to Bombay in India. So Pemba, so back and forth. 2 hours going Goa, Arabia. Then you have, let's see, L'Île de France. It's an island of some kind. Madagascar.
Yeah, okay. Come from there as well.
From there, you go over to the left. I'm gonna go up top. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay. You got Spain. Lisbon, keep that in mind. Lisbon, France, Nantes. It's not Nantes, it's Nantes. It's pronounced Nantes. It's France. Nantes. Nantes. Nantes is pronounced Nantes. Nantes. You have Denmark. No. Those are European goods. But it's slaves too. I ain't falling for that.
Oh, Lisbon was a big port.
Yeah, Lisbon's huge.
Port.
We got the atlas on that.
Port,
Lisbon. You got Nantes. Going back and forth, you have what else? Sierra Leone, go to the bottom. Ivory Coast, Gold Coast, Slave Coast, obviously. Let's go to Slave Coast. Okay. And you see a black line, Senegal to Gold Coast. That's not European cheap goods there. You see how the black line says, it's cheap European goods. From Senegal to Slave Coast, it's selling European goods? Come on, stop. No. It's European goods being sold in exchange for slaves. So these black lines and dotted lines are all the same thing. There's no differentiation.
Hey, Deacon, when you go back to remember Mozambique, that was us there, the Zulus, Bantus, so forth, and they were calling us Kafirs around that area.
Yes.
And Mozambique, the Portuguese was trading there too, and they took Yasuke. They took Yasuke from Mozambique.
Yeah, to Japan.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think he had a stop in India. One of the books, he had a stop in India, and then he went from India to Japan.
Yeah, there's a book that I have where it says that they grabbed we're gonna get to that. We're not now, but it mentions that they bought a bunch of black slaves from Japan. Not just Yasuke. He wasn't only one.
Right.
He was the notable one.
Yeah, he's the most.
They brought many of us to Japan. Many of us are samurai, not just one. They just put him out there. Okay, we'll give you one nigga. That's it. We'll give you one nigga. That's it. Then get out of here. They had many of us. You had from Cameroon to Mexico. No, Mexicans aren't our people. Those are heathens. Y'all niggas are stupid. They brought us over to Mexico. They brought us over to Cuba. They brought us over to Haiti.
Gabon. Remember Gabon?
Gabon. Jasper Younger. He was Gabonese. He was brought over to Mexico and held one of the most first slave black revolts over there and established a black town of freedom over there. Jasper Younger is his name. Look him up. Fact check me. Jasper Younger. You got a statue of him over there with a shell in his hand, and he's big black dude, woolly hair. You can't mistake him. He ain't white for nothing. I guarantee you in 20 years he'll be Caucasian. 20 years. Niggas don't read nothing. Now go to the next map. I'll give you 3 maps. Next one. Is this the newest one here? Yeah, when we get the other one. Last one.
There's that worldwide one we usually use too.
Yeah, the one that Bishop showed, right?
Yeah, that's a good one too. We can use that. Do we have it?
Yeah, we should have it.
Yeah, we have it. That's in the group.
I blow it up. Let me see that. The one with the thick black lines. The one we have at the bottom we have already. Yeah, that's how it's made in the book, but I took a picture of it. It's sideways. Turn it around. Go to the other one. Well, that's good. Just let me see. Zoom in some more. Yeah, move this page out. It's not important. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so go down, see what it says. It says sea routes, land routes, Mafia Island, Pemba Island, Pate Island, Kilauea. So Swahili slave assembly ports. Well, damn. Swahili will go into that goes into like
that's the language.
The language, but that's like
Kenya,
Malawi, Zambia. That's like Swahili. Okay, so go up. Kenya, yes. Go up. So Lake Tanganyika is Lake Tanzania today. Same place. So you have sea routes. These are all slave routes. Madagascar again. Zanzibar. I remember that. Zanzibar, Mombasa. Melinda, go up all right there. Malindi, Mombasa, Zanzibar. Thick black line for slaves. Kilauea, Lake Nyasa, Congo, going over to the land. They made us walk. They made us walk from there to there. If it's dotted, we walked. If it's black line, we sailed. Walk or sail. That was a slave motto. Go up Somalia. And that's ports, slave ports along Somalia, I believe. Okay, go up, let me see. Aden, Yemen, another port. Mecca, another port. Mm-hmm. Jeddah, another port. Mecca, Mecca, slave port, holy Ma'at, holy, unholy. Boy, that's the way where they bring us to. You see Bandar Abbas, India, Bombay, Baghdad, Bahrain. So they brought us. Red Sea, ports there, Mecca, Jeddah. I'm telling you, man, the major slave routes on the East African coast and in the Indian Ocean, 10th to 15th centuries, before and after the Portuguese.
It's that Deuteronomy 4:27.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Because in these areas, we were the least.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you.
Right. Scatter us among the nations, how? By foot or by sea. And so we were scattered. You see Greenland over there? That the one? Yeah, scope of the Arab slave trade. That's good. That's good. Another map right here. Okay. Zoom it in some, because I can't see it. It's print's very small. Okay, you got it's kind of blurry. That's not what I want. That's not the one I'm looking for. No, let's just continue. Give me Nautical Magazine. I want page 139. I got a lot to cover. I want to get off this page. Nautical Magazine. Nautical Magazine. Yes, 1870. Remember the Ishmaelites or the Arabs continued the slave trade during this time. This is a book that speaks on the chronicles of the British sloops or navies that would intercept these ships and would stop the trading from going on. Now, has it stopped completely? No, it's still happening today. And the EU knows about it. They've been investigating it since 2017. It ain't going to stop. It's never going to stop until the Lord comes. And the Lord destroys these people. Page 139. Just read the highlighter parts. I got a lot to go.
A brief account of slavery as it is carried on in this part of the world may be acceptable before entering into the medical details of the subject.
The medical details of the subject is us. Go ahead.
At present, the principal actors in this traffic.
At present, because this book was 1870. At present, during the time this book was being put together. Go ahead.
Are Arabs from the Persian Gulf.
And I read that earlier. Persian Gulf. This is a different book. This is called cross-referencing. All these books intersect each other, all of them. Persian Gulf, go ahead.
Who being too lazy and indolent to grow their own corn, make their own clothes, or in fact do anything whatever for themselves, which they can't avoid.
These Arabs are lazy. They had us do everything for them. White folks too, you niggas are lazy. No, y'all lazy.
Right.
We built your damn economy. Y'all lazy. Go ahead.
Have from time immemorial been slave owners.
They have the Arabs from time immemorial, from the time of Joseph all the way till now, have been involved in the slave trade. Always. Go ahead.
These generally leave the Persian Gulf in dhows.
In what?
In dhows.
Dhows. Dhows. That's the last book. In dhows. They had us in sardine-like positions, men, women, and children. Dhows. Slaves, Arab slave ships. For you dummies out there that deny slave ships. Go ahead.
Early in the year and make for Zanzibar.
How the hell did Yasser get to Japan?
Right.
How did he get there? He flew? He swam? Are y'all retarded? Go ahead.
Which is about the chief market. Here they take in their cargo.
Zanzibar is the chief market. Zanzibar was the chief market. Chief. Go ahead.
Here they take in their cargoes and then make their way back by the southwest monsoon.
Real quick, I want you to Wikipedia Zanzibar. What's that word mean? Where it comes from? Because that word is going to be very important later on in this lesson. Zanzibar. It's not really pronounced Zanzibar. It's pronounced something else. And the Zanzibar is the place where we inhabited. That was our land. That belonged to us. Wait, go back. Where you was at? Go up to the top. Is that it? That's a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful place. Look at that. Look at that water. Damn. That was ours, man. And the slave ships docked there. But that was ours. Go down. Click on hit Zanzibar. Go in there.
Zanzibar is an insular semi-autonomous region which united with
Tanzania. So Zanzibar, Tanzania is pretty much attached. Go ahead.
In 1964 to form the United Republic of Tanzania. It is an archipelago in the Indian Ocean.
Go down.
Archipelago.
Yeah, archipelago. I want the etymology of the word. Go down. Where the word comes from. Go down. Etymology, right there. Read that.
The word Zanzibar come from Arabic.
Stop.
Came from Arabic. Sorry.
The word Zanzibar came from Arabic. Came from the Arabic Zanzibar. Zanzibar. It's not Zanzibar, it's English. Zanzibar. The Arabs gave it that name. Why? Read on.
Which is in turn from Persian, a compound of Zang.
Persian is Zanzibar. It's still Zang. It's Zanzibar or Zanzibar. Go ahead.
Black.
It means what?
Black.
Go ahead.
The sea of...
Bar is what?
The Sea of Zanj. Oh, black plus bar, coast.
Black coast. Black coast. Israelite coast. Negro coast. Like Gold Coast. Same thing. Black coast. Zanj means black. And bar is coast. Black coast. That's what it means. Read on.
The Sea of Zanj.
The Sea of the Blacks. Go ahead.
The name is one of several toponyms sharing similar etymologies.
Watch this.
Ultimately meaning land of the blacks.
That's what Zanzibar is part of. Land of the blacks.
That was our land.
That was our land. It belonged to us. The island was ours. Go ahead.
Are similar meanings in reference to the dark skin of the inhabitants.
Us. That was us.
Same as Sudan.
That's why it says that they would depopulate an entire area. They combed through Zanzibar and made it a slave port. That was our land. That was our island. We're gonna get it back too.
And they get it back. And they take it for themselves, Deacon.
Yeah. When America's destroyed, we won't need them beaches over there. We gonna have this water out. We saw that water picture earlier? That's our beach right there. We gonna be good.
That's right.
Let America's water burn. Let America be polluted with nukes and fire. Don't care. We got pure fresh water in Africa. We good to go.
Hey, go down real quick. Go down. Look, religion. 98% Islam because guess who? They took it over now. They moved in.
Zanzibari. Yep. Hussein. Look at the president. Hussein. Minwil. Uthman. Uthman is Taman. That's Ottoman. Ottoman Masood Sharif. Dang. That's them Edom Arabs over there. Edom Arabs running the place. Edom Arabs, I call them. White Arabs. Now, like Muhammad was. Now, get me. Well, that's how he's described. That's how he was described, the white Arab. Go on. Continue.
The supply of slaves is principally kept up from the interior of Africa. A strong chieftain conquers a weaker neighbor, takes his subject prisoners, and transport them to the markets along the coast.
That's what they did with us. Go ahead.
Where they are purchased by dealers. Generally
Portuguese. Go ahead.
Generally Arabs.
Yes.
Who in turn sell them to the northern Arabs in the season. The prisoners are generally utilized on their journey from the interior, being made to carry elephant tusk on their shoulders for the ivory market.
Wow, man. What? That's Revelation 18, ivory, man. Go ahead.
On arrival at one of these markets, Zanzibar, for instance, they are sorted into lots according to sex, age, size, and physical capacity, and disposed of accordingly. The slave markets at Zanzibar is a curious place. You come suddenly upon it on turning a corner from a narrow street.
It's open. It wasn't secret. It's open. Go ahead. What the hell? What the hell is this?
What the fuck? Yo, what the hell?
Is that playing?
Yo,
Bro.
What the hell?
What the hell was that?
Bro, don't let anybody.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I'm messed up right now. All right. It is an open space.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yo.
Go ahead, continue.
All right. It is an open space. Go ahead. Next page. of about an acre in extent, and here the slaves are arranged in rows, old men by themselves, old women by themselves, young men, young women, children, male and female, all in separate lots, stand in rows, awaiting listlessly until some purchaser bids for them. The Arabs examine their purchase very critically, walking up and down the lines, looking at their eyes, ears, teeth, tongues, skin, etc., with a sort of professional minuteness. If they wish to examine a valuable purchase with more than ordinary care, they withdraw into a private enclosure set aside for the purpose. Often as many as 500 or 600 slaves change hands daily.
Often as many as 500 or 600 slaves change hands daily. Go ahead.
Many of them look jaded and tired after their long journey from the interior.
They made us walk long walks from hundreds of miles. Go ahead.
But as a rule, they have not been much pressed, and their condition is generally very favorable so far. Their miseries begin when they are packed in the dhows.
Here we go. Their miseries begin when they are packed in the dhows. When they're packed in the dhows. Go ahead.
Which are small vessels, averaging from 70 to 150 tons burthen, and carrying from 150 to 250 slaves. There's a sort of half...
They carry 100 to 250 slaves per ship. That's a lot of bodies. Go ahead.
There is a sort of half deck running round the dhow, below which the slaves are stowed in a sitting posture.
A sardine, sitting, they make us sit down next to each other. Like the Atlantic slave trade. Go ahead.
Each one closely squeezed between the legs of the slave behind.
Yes.
During the voyage, their diet consists of millet seed, pulp, and water.
Their diet consists of millet seed, pulped and water. Go ahead.
And this, coupled with their miserable condition on board the dhows, reduces them to a wretched plight in a few days.
From that diet and how they're sitting. Go ahead.
On one occasion, we capture a dhow containing
is the British. On one occasion, we captured a dhow. We caught one. We intercepted a dhow. Go ahead. Containing what?
Containing about 170 slaves.
It contained 170 slaves, but it can hold 250. And there wasn't just one, it was many of them. Go ahead.
Who had been 3 weeks on board. They were all reduced to mere skeletons, and in many instances could not totter on their cramped limbs.
They couldn't walk because they were cramped up for sitting for so long, for 3 weeks straight.
What's it called? Your muscle atrophy?
Atrophy. Go ahead.
Most of them had large, sluggish ulcers. Chiefly on prominent parts, elbows, buttocks, and knees, from being so closely packed.
It's like sardines.
And they were all enveloped in their own
excrets, their own shit. In their own feces. They were sitting in their own filth.
Damn.
3 weeks straight, man. Giving them millet seed and water. Who survived off of that? Go ahead.
Having to perform all demands of nature as they crouched huddled together.
Whatever they had to do. Menstrual blood, menstrual cycle, pee, vomit, dump. They're sitting in it. Same as the Atlantic slave trade. The slave ships never existed. Y'all guys are retarded, man.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Retarded. I'm going to mock you the entire time. I'm mocking this whole time. Because y'all are stupid as hell. Go ahead.
Nearly all of them suffered from aggravated scabies, and many from large anthracis. A few had a species of lower fever, and some 2 or 3 suffered from acute pulmonary affections.
Breathing issues from being packed in a room all day.
They were regarded, however, by our officers as...
No. I'm sorry. Pulmonary is bloody. They had like stuff in their lungs. Pulmonary. Lungs. Go ahead. Yeah, breathing issues. Go ahead.
They were regarded, however, by our officers as rather better off than cargoes captured the year before, being free from cholera, smallpox, or other epidemic. The smell from a slave dhow, even at a mild distance...
The smell from a slave dhow, even at what?
Even at a mild distance, is very offensive.
That's why they built the wall in Wall Street. Because when the ships came through in the Wall Street, the smell came into the town. They had to build a wall to block the smell from coming in. From the slave ships to docks, but they never existed, right? The slave ships never got there, so there was no reason to build a wall, right?
Right.
You stupid niggas. That make me sick. Your existence bothers me. Continue.
And is, of course, very conclusive evidence as to the nature of her cargo before boarding, as the slaves cannot be seen, being below the gunwale. Our first procedure on getting them on board was to cleanse them, which was done by gently playing a hose over the whole mast. They were then dried and made as comfortable as the limited area of our deck would admit.
This is the British. Go ahead.
A very few days' treatment brought their sores into a healthy condition, and from crawling along the deck in a short time, they were able to walk and run.
They had to learn to walk and run again from all that sitting they did. Go ahead.
The horrors of an epidemic of choleric diarrhea.
Whoa. We're going to slow this down here. The horrors of an epidemic of a choleric diarrhea. Watch this.
Amongst upwards of 200 liberated slaves, crowded and huddled together on our small upper deck, are more easily imagined than described. Most of them being too weak to move from the spot where they lay.
They just lay there. They're in too much pain. They had diarrhea. Get from eating them seeds. Go ahead, watch.
This state of things was brought about by our omitting, as we afterwards learned to make them separate the husk from the millet seed.
So it says we afterwards learned to make them separate the husk from the millet seed. Go ahead.
Which they used for food before pounding it.
So out of hunger, when they were used to carry ivory, they would take pieces of the ivory, break it, and they would break it in pieces and eat the ivory along with the millet seeds to survive. Watch this.
The husk by irritating the intestinal canal.
So when they ate those things, it would irritate their intestinal canal. Watch this.
Brought on violent diarrhea.
And gave them violent diarrhea. Go ahead.
Whereby we lost a considerable number by death.
They died. They basically took a dump and died.
It's suicide.
Yeah. That's what they were doing.
Die.
Eating the ivory and the seeds together, and they would rupture and they die. Go ahead.
Smallpox, too, sometimes occurs amongst liberated slaves on board a man of war. On liberation, the cargoes are usually brought to Aden.
You just read that earlier map, but then go ahead.
Where some are kept as domestic servants, compulsorily for a period of years, after which they are freed.
Watch.
Others are sent to Bombay.
That's the same earlier. Bombay, watch this.
And some go to
Seychelles Island. Beautiful island also. A lot of our kings from Ashanti, when they fought against the British, they were exported and banished to go there. Seychelles Islands. Seychelles Island. That's what this is talking about. So these are Arab slave ships. So we're going to take a quick break after that. Hopefully those of you who are watching who believe in non-existing slave ships, hopefully your stupidity has been healed and cured, and we're going to continue to heal it as we continue the lesson. So just stay tuned with us. We got some questions regarding the IT team after this break. So let's stay tuned.
Might take a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Shalom.
Every reserve I go to, everyone's got their head down. They look lost and defeated. We need to regain our strength, and the strength is the Word of God, the Word of the Creator.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Assyria.
That's Turkey.
And from Egypt. And from Pathros.
That's Sudan.
And from Cush.
That's Ethiopia.
And from Elam.
That's India.
And from Shinar.
That's Iraq.
And from Hamath.
That's Syria.
And from the islands of the sea.
That's Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico, Cape Verde, so forth and so on. Go ahead.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel.
Y'all see that right there? Right. So the Gentiles are the outcasts of Israel. Go ahead.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Estos colegios porquería de aquí te enseñan la supremacía blanca, de que estos son los judíos, y de que el apóstol de ellos fueron más malos que el de nosotros cuando no era. Los aztecas sufrieron más que los judíos cuando eso de ellos. Nosotros sufrimos más que ellos.
podemos llegar tan rápido al punto que como específicamente los mexicanos son del tribu de Isaacar si no primero enseñamos la descendencia, la genealogía de Jesucristo primero?
Mujeres pueden usar trajes, que los hombres deben usar trajes, no ropa femenina.
Sí, yo fui como un hombre afrodescendiente.
¿Qué aprendiste hoy del color de Cristo?
¿Quién es moreno?
¿Quién?
Jesucristo es moreno.
¿Según qué?
La Biblia.
Es la santa y aquí todas vienen trabajadas. Que dicen que es protección.
Ok. Entonces, ¿qué piensas sobre ese collar ahora?
Pues ahora puedo cuestionarme y creo que para el hombre cuestionarse abre puertas.
Titus chapter 2 verse 3 to 5. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
I'm so glad to be here in this neighborhood and to be here for this outreach. I've learned some few things from you, which I'm very grateful for. How you guys go out to encourage people and teach people the word of God. It gives us that confidence, that there's hope and things can change. And you have also taught me how to teach your children at home, how to talk to your husband, how we were raised. It was all just amazing. And that is something I want to be doing to my kids going forward. I just wish I can keep in touch with you so that, this is like a counseling journey for me. And I'm actually very grateful for it.
Necesitamos una escuela aquí en Aguas.
We're back. Back from the break. Let the excuse the language, man. When I read these books, man, it pisses me off because this stuff is unknown to our people. A lot of it's unknown, and the things that happen to us pisses me off. That's why I have a strong disdain for these Israelites. I don't like them. I don't like their ideology. I don't like them as a nation. What they did to our people. That's why I love my people. Like I said, I say it all the time. So when they come across these videos, oh, you attacked Islam. No, I didn't attack my people. I attacked the ideology because the ideology and the people behind the religion, I have a strong disdain for them based upon the information I'm providing y'all throughout this lesson. That's where my problem comes. I know my people who are in Islam, they try to steer away from European, Christianity, whatever. I get it, but understand that you went from one slave master to another. That's all I'm saying. Where we at? On liberation.
We stopped at Satially.
Go down. Let me see what's underlined. Let me see. Go to page 142. Yeah. Start from
rheumatism.
Here, nutrition's diet would no doubt be incalculable.
Here, nutritious diet would no doubt be an incalculable benefit.
There you go.
And influencing the subsequent effect of the disease.
Right, we were getting sick. Go ahead. In Africa, disease. Go ahead.
Rheumatism is frequent and it's probably the direct result of sleeping on deck.
Rheumatism is the direct result of us sleeping on deck. We call it rheumatism. Now, real quick, look at rheumatism real fast to see what that is. Of us being packed together for weeks and weeks at a time, neck and neck, shoulder to shoulder. Read that, rheumatism.
Rheumatism, any of various conditions characterized by inflammation or pain in muscles, joints, or fibrous tissue.
That's the knees, elbows, joints. By our bones are swollen. Muscle inflammation from all that sitting for all that time. That's where it came from, rheumatism. And oftentimes when Esau would catch these things, you know what they would do? They would have our children lay under their feet because they believed that our skin would absorb all the rheumatism out their body into us. There's pictures of that, of a white dude sitting down in a rocking chair and a little black boy laying in front of the chair and his feet on top of him. Because they believed that our people had, they knew who we were. So they believed that by them putting their body on us, they would suck the rheumatism out of them and put it into us. Rheumatism. So go back. He's terrible, bro. Terrible. Go ahead.
Indeed, it's crazy. I read where they also Esau, if they had an earache, they would use a sheep's wool, right? They use a sheep's wool to heal an earache. If they couldn't get a sheep wool, they would use our hair.
Wow.
To cure their earache.
Wow. Wow. There you go, right there. That's it. He had rheumatism, so he would put his feet on a black boy. So they believe they would suck the rheumatism out of him into the boy. That's these people. There's demons. Well, give me Isaiah real quick. That scripture, Isaiah.
Yep.
I'm gonna share. This is a scripture. Isaiah 51 and 2, 52.
Yes. 51 and 23.
The last verse. Yeah.
Yep. Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of
22.
Yes, sir. Verse 22.
20.
Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets.
This the ghetto, the hood. You find black folks at the head of the streets in the corner. Go ahead.
As a wild bull in a net.
They violent. They're in gangs. They're fighting each other. They're destroying the community. Violent. Go ahead.
They are full of the fury of the Lord.
Go ahead.
The rebuke of thy God.
That's the curses. Go ahead.
Therefore hear now this, thou afflicted.
We're the afflicted.
And drunken.
We're the ones who are drunk in philosophies, politics, gangs, religion. We're the ones that's drunk. Go ahead.
But not with wine.
But not with liquor, because we're drunk with everything else. Spiritually, we're drunk. Ideologically, we're drunk. Go ahead.
Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord, and thy God that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling.
Right now we drink the cup of trembling. Judgment. Go ahead.
Even the dregs of the cup of my fury.
The dregs means the last, you drink water and there's something on the cup, bottom of the cup, the last drops, that's the dregs. God says you're going to drink all of it. Drink all of that. But in the end, the Most High says the nations are going to drink the same thing and double. Go ahead.
Thou shalt no more drink it again.
Come on.
But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee.
I'm going to put the harm upon you. I'm going to put the harm upon them I put upon you. Go ahead.
Which have said to thy soul.
Which said to our soul. Go ahead. What?
Bow down.
Bow down, nigga. Bow down. Come on.
That we may go over.
That we may bow down so I can step and walk all over you. Go ahead.
And thou hast laid thy body as the ground.
What do we do?
Thou hast laid thy body as the ground.
Get the image up there. We did what?
And thou hast laid thy body as the ground.
Laid our body as the ground. Come on.
And as the street to them that went over.
That's Edom. That's the Ishmaelites, the Arabs. That's the Sultans, Elam. That's them that went over. Ham. That's them that went over. That's what it's talking about. Go back to the book now. Lay your body as the ground. Rheumatism again? Rheumatism. It's frequent. Go ahead.
Rheumatism is frequent and is probably the direct result of sleeping on deck, which practice is necessitated by the confined space and impure air below.
That causes the pulmonary issues, the impure air below. Go ahead.
In small ships during the hot weather.
Why is the air impure? Because of the feces, the urine, the vomit, the menstrual smell. All of that combined in a small space for weeks at a time. It's toxic. That's where it comes from. Go ahead.
In conclusion, our sending out cruisers to suppress the traffic is believed by those well acquainted with the subject to be productive of some good and also of much evil. The close packing of cargoes, the avoidance of the shore during the voyage, and consequently the scanty supply of water and provisions allowed to the slaves has all arisen since we sent ships to suppress the slave trade. Formerly, all the owners found it to their advantage to keep their cargoes in good health during the voyage. They therefore ran more dhows.
Go ahead. It says, formerly, all owners found it their advantage to keep their cargoes in good health during the voyage. Go ahead.
And ran more dhows and crowded them less.
Right. So they realized effectively to bring your cargo from one place to the other was to cram less of us in the ship. So if they cram less, they require more ships, more dhows. Rather than one dhow packing us full of slaves, let's just get more dhows and less on each ship. Go ahead.
They also called into places along the coast as often as they required water and provisions. The result being that the slaves had a tolerably good time of it on board. Now, of course, they run great risk of capture by going inshore. And moreover, they find it pays better to crowd one large dhow densely.
They find it better to just pack it full of slaves. Go ahead.
Though they may lose half the cargo through death.
Wow.
Then to run the chance of shipping the same number comfortably in 2 or 3 vessels.
Right.
No doubt, a large number is liberated annually by the cruisers, but they are few in proportion to those annually transshipped.
They can't catch them all. Read on.
Moreover, it is a question whether the condition of the released is much better than that of those who continue in slavery. If one might judge from the demeanor of liberated slaves, I should be inclined to think that it is almost a matter of indifference to them, particularly as the Arab masters are reputed to treat them tolerably well when once they get them on shore.
What he's saying is that the Negroes become Stockholm syndrome. They feel like, okay, you saved me, but I don't want to be saved. That's what he's saying. A lot of the slaves, when they got saved or saved from the Arab masters, the Arabs would treat them well when they got them off occasionally. And those who were treated well were like, oh, why'd you save me for? I'm good. I was good where I was going. That's what he's saying. It's slave mentality. Like Harriet Tubman said, I would have saved 1,000 more slaves if they knew they were slaves. Right. That's what he's saying right here. Some of them had Stockholm syndrome. Go ahead.
In fact, their position as slaves is said to bear a fair comparison with the compulsory servitude which awaits them in the event of our capturing them. I have been informed by European residents at Zanzibar that all the miseries to which slaves on passage are now subjected are directly attributable to our well-meant but certainly misdirected efforts to suppress the trade. Formerly, they certainly misdirected efforts to suppress the trade. Formerly, they were conveyed leisurely to their destination. No overcrowding, no deficient diet, no want of water, simply because of their owners found it paid them better to keep their cargoes in health.
So they realized how much people they lost. It's okay, let's treat our slaves a bit better so we can profit from it more. Go ahead.
Leaving out of the question any motives of humanity which may possibly have influenced them. Now, the reverse is the case. They find it pays better to make a swift passage, avoiding the shore.
Avoiding the British. Go ahead.
And reducing the number of dhows engaged in transport to a minimum. hence the overcrowding and other evils.
Right. So that's what was going on. So this is the history of the Arab slave ships that the British would intercept on the Indian Ocean. For you simple Negroes out there that argue the slave trade. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. Y'all just slow and retarded. Now get me General History of Africa, Volume 5, page 51. General History of Africa. Had this book for a while. We used it numerous times. I don't mind saying it. I gave her that book last week. You should have it.
Hey, while y'all look for that book, play Captain said something. Play that real quick.
Which cat?
Captain LeQuack.
Okay. Shout out to Captain LeQuack, man. Where you at, man? You probably tired from your trip. I get it, bro. I get it. Wish you was here, bro.
Hey, man, put in mighty works out there in Ohio.
Man. Yeah, doing the work, man. Le plume, le plume, le plume. I speak French, too.
Le plume, le plume, le plume.
Press play.
Press play. Hey, play this while I look for the book, though. Yes, all right.
This new docuseries titled Colin in Black and White is out on Netflix. It takes a closer look at how the former NFL quarterback navigated race and activism leading up to the moment he took a knee during the national anthem. At one point, Kaepernick compares the NFL draft process to a slave auction. Yep. NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hillier takes a closer look at the film and how people are responding.
What they don't want you to understand is what's being established is a power dynamic.
Former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick's new Netflix special igniting debate on social media after it compared the NFL's drafting process and its workout performance review called the Combine to slavery.
Next one coming up, best one we got.
In the opening minutes of the special titled Colin in Black and White, a line of black actors playing NFL prospects morph into slaves at an auction with shackles on them.
Look at this here. Come on, who wants this?
I think what we're supposed to take away from the comparison of the NFL Combine to a slave auction is the question of dehumanization and the ways that there are power imbalances related to race and class in how that dehumanization takes place.
The Netflix special promoting the story of Kaepernick's formative years navigating race, class, and culture. Some critics rejecting the slave auction comparison on social media, including Utah's Republican Congressman Bruce Owens, a former NFL player who tweeted out, "How dare Kaepernick compare the evil endured by so many of our ancestors to a bunch of millionaires who chose to play the game." In 2016, Kaepernick then a star.
What the millions of dollars is referred to in slavery as meritorious manumissions. When a Negro does real good for massa, he gets rewarded. That's what this nigga's talking about. Oh, they make millions of dollars. They still slaves. They have owners.
That's a house slave.
That's a house nigga. You a house nigga. Just meritorious manumission. Whenever a slave rats another slave out, rats him out, or speaks of a rebellion taking place, they get rewarded for their good service to massa. That's what the salary is. It's no difference.
They're like, I'm not a slave. I get the piece of paper with master's face on it.
Yeah, but these football teams have owners. If you have an owner, you're property. What are you talking about? Continue.
Was that Sterling dude with the
Ronald Sterling said, I feed them. Don't bring niggas to my games.
I buy them houses. I buy them cars.
Yeah, I take care of them. I buy them houses. Just to bring them a game. Don't bring them to my games. It ain't just him. He's just honest. Continue.
For the San Francisco 49ers began kneeling or sitting during the national anthem, protesting police brutality and racism.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed.
After other players followed his lead, the NFL in 2018 implemented a no-kneeling policy during the national anthem, threatening to fine teams with players who refused to stand. That same year, basketball star LeBron James commented on HBO's The Shop uninterrupted.
And in the NFL, they got a bunch of old, white men owning teams, and they got that slave mentality, and it's like, this is my team, you do what I tell y'all to do.
The NFL has not commented on Kaepernick's comparison. No team has signed Kaepernick, now 33 years old, since 2017.
Where does he anticipate a conversation like this going from here? You speak out about the Combine and make this comparison to actually change the Combine. While systems may be lined up against you, those systems are possible to change. I just think he wants to be a living monument to that.
Well, first and foremost, I watched that entire series on Netflix. It's very good. I suggest you watch it. He was adopted. I believe he has a black father as well, biological father, Jake. But he definitely was susceptible to racism and so forth, and so he relates to his people. He's right. He's absolutely right. And he has not been on the team since because he's just like, yo, this nigga is too outspoken. Get rid of him. He's talking too much. So, but again, it's the same thing. The show is very good. It's a very good. You need to watch it. October 20th, it was a very good show. I watched the whole thing. It was very, very good. His parents tried to make him go and date a white girl rather than a black girl. When you watch it, it's very good. Very good show.
He was adopted by two Edomites.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was.
His real father is a black man.
Yes.
And they were trying to like say, look, white people are so good to you. They adopted you. They gave you this life and this and that to try to get him to stop doing what he's doing.
But he couldn't do it. He couldn't. He's like, nah. He relates more towards his own. Him and J. Cole like that. Him and J. Cole. J. Cole said, yeah, my mom is white, but I don't really relate to that side of the family. I relate to the side of the family that gets pulled over and gets racially profiled. I relate to that side of the family. Right. So I say I'm more black. That's how is what it is. The spirit, it is what it is. Bear witness.
Right. That's like with Moses when he grew up in Pharaoh's house. He still had to look back at his people like that.
Right. Get Hebrews. Get that real quick, Hebrews. Because it's the same what Kaepernick did. He did the same thing. And it looks to me, I don't know. I'm not going to speak. I don't want to say it. I don't want to be too hasty to credit. But Candace is teetering.
Yeah.
In that direction. I don't know what she's doing or what she thinks she's dealing with. I don't think she realizes what she's dealing with or what she's doing, but she's teetering. I don't know. She need to have Bishop on the show. That's all I'm saying. Have Bishop on the show, then we're going to see what she's made of. When she has him on the show, we're going to see what she's made of at that point. Hebrews of Moses.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
He refused that healthy, heavy salary in the NFL. Right. Go ahead.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God.
Go ahead.
Than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
26.
Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt.
The money in Babylon, the money in captivity. That's what it's saying. Go ahead.
For he had respect unto the recompense of the reward.
He had respect for the reward that came after our deliverance, our liberation, our revolution. So Kaepernick is in that path. Got the beard, got the fro. He right at the doorstep, man. Just come to the door, bro. Just come to the door.
Right.
That's all.
Verse 27.
Kyrie Irving was close, but now he got
they got him.
They got him. Yeah. They re-educated him. All right. Deshaun Jackson, they re-educated him. Nick Cannon, they re-educated him.
Yeah, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, Kendrick. So, where we at? Give me, John. We got the book now? Very good. I want page 51. That it? Page 51? Okay, blow it up. Now you see our people? That's the same as the combine. Same thing, but on the ship. Dang. Do you see the ship? Dang. Do you see it? Dummies? Go on, next, please see. Go down. Who says it? It's in the bottom of the illustration. Slaves
being
loaded on, it's faded out, on the European slaving ship in the Hudson.
Collectively, something collective.
The collection. It's an illustration of us being put in the ships. You see them going down the bottom of the deck. And the chains at the bottom of their feet, the chains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Fetters.
It's fetters. Yeah, that's fetters. Go down. Page 65. Page 65. Yep, look at the map here. What does it say? African what? Diaspora.
The African diaspora in the old and new world.
Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 64. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
The Lord shall what?
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Now, you go into the Greek, the word scatter there is diaspora. The word diaspora goes back to scatter. We are the scattered the Bible speaks of. We are the scattered. We are the diaspora the Bible speaks of. Not some converts from the 8th century. It ain't talking about them. It's talking about us. They weren't scattered all over the world. These people. These Israelis were not scattered. There you go. Greek, dia across, spiritin, scatter, disperse. That's us. Read again.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the...
Wait. Go up some. Go up. Diaspora. Read what it says here.
Diaspora. The dispersion or spread of a people from their original homeland.
Next definition.
People who have spread or been dispersed from their homeland.
Next definition.
The dispersion of the Jewish people beyond Israel.
That's what dispersion means. Next one.
Jewish people living outside Israel.
Israelites living outside Israel. That's us. We are the diaspora. The diaspora is based upon us. This Bible. That's where the word stems from the Bible here. Now read again.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Four corners.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Islam, Christianity, Buddhism. Go ahead.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Primarily Christianity or Islam. Now, let's go back. Or false Judaism, which goes back to wood again too. And stone altogether. It's damn Babylonian. Now, we see the map here? We see the bottom? Okay, Africa, Europe, and Asia adapted from map drawn by Dr. Dito. Right. Geography Department, Howard University. Washington, D.C. Go up. So this is a slave map here. Spain, Portugal, Morocco, going up to Portugal. England, France, Italy, Egypt, Persia, India. Okay? What else? What's over there to the right? Let me see to the right.
It's the other map I put up on the group too, Dick.
Okay. Get the other map. Get the other map that Officer Kim posted for y'all. This map is all right. It's all right. We kind of saw better ones than this one, but this is just an idea. But I want something out of this book, though. That's going to, show you why there was slave trade in India. You have the map that Officer Kim provided you?
This one came out of not that one.
Not that one. Not that one. Not yet.
The first one I posted.
That one first. We'll get to that soon enough. Or not.
This one came out of a college textbook.
I'm going to use that. Not yet. I'm going to use that later. Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Come on, officer.
You dropping the gold. You dropping the jewels too quick. Not yet. Almost. They're all praises, though. Yes. But not yet.
My bad. The earlier thing messed me up.
Huh? What'd you say?
Nothing. Go ahead, D.
Okay.
Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
Get paid 66.
Just once I agree with you.
Get paid 66. I'm not even going to do it. Paid 66 is by Satan's battery, man. Get paid 66. Is that 66? Get 67. Yes. Blow that up. That's what we want. We start from not far from Jorat. Not far from Jorat.
Not far from Jorat.
Is Janjira Island.
Is Janjira Island, which in ancient times was part of the prosperous commercial activity of northwestern India, including what is today Bombay and the Konkan coast.
Remember, slaves were brought. There were slave ports in these areas. Bombay, Konkan coast. Continue.
If local traditions are to be believed, the
Siddhis, go ahead.
Janjira descended from Africans who arrived from Gujarat in 1489.
The Siddhis that reside in this land were descended from the Negroes who arrived from Gujarat in 1489. Continue.
From the 1530s, the Portuguese.
The main European, the first one, the Portuguese, go ahead.
Developed political and economic control over parts of the west coast of India.
They did possess parts of the west coast of India. The Portuguese gained dominion over there. Go ahead.
Especially the Konkan coast, where many African slaves were imported.
Because they brought slaves with them on these ports. Go ahead.
Most of these slaves came from Mozambique.
Most of these slaves, we showed you the maps earlier, so I'm through the maps. Most of these slaves came from Mozambique by the Portuguese, including Yasuke, who was brought to Japan by the Portuguese. Continue, watch.
And the Portuguese used them in trading.
They used us in trading with other nations, Indians, or Elam. Go ahead.
On farms or as domestic
slaves.
Some were trained as priests and teachers for religious schools.
They used us to teach their people. Watch.
and especially in Goa.
I showed you that map earlier. The Goa in the map I showed you that earlier. Goa. Go ahead.
Which became Portugal's headquarters.
If it became Portugal's headquarters, slaves were definitely there. Go ahead.
For its East African and Asian colonies.
Come on.
Throughout this period, Janjara Island retained its autonomy. By the 17th century, the Sidis, who comprised the bulk of the Muslims.
The Sidis who comprise, why Muslim? Because the Arabs had us inside as slaves. And the Portuguese bought us from them. Go ahead.
On the island had become its principal landowners. A council of elders of the major Sidi leaders chose a Nawab, who acted as temporal and spiritual
ruler. So when they converted us to Islam, they gave us certain privileges or allowances to have elders and so forth to teach us this Islam. Go ahead.
Having established their political base, the Janjara Sidis expanded their power over the northwestern coast thanks to their naval power. In 1616, they formed an alliance with Malik Ambar, a Habshi, king of the Deccan in central India.
Deccan in central India. Go ahead.
Deccan in central India. Both forces fought the Mughals for many years.
Jump down to Africans also.
Hey, with who is this again? That you were just talking about. Where we at?
Go up. Malik
Ambar. He's a Habshi, a Habasha from Abyssinia.
That's us too.
From Ethiopia.
Yeah, Habshis is us.
Yeah, he became a general in the Muslim military over there in the Malabar coast, which is also Goa and the Konkan and Bombay and Gujarat as well. That's all the Malabar coast.
Yeah, Habshis another way for saying Abyssinians.
Yeah, Abyssinians.
That's us too. Read on. Go jump down. So we gained when we became domesticated. They gave us status in the military, pretty much. And we gained status in the military, we started taking over stuff in certain portions. Read that? The Africans?
Africans who settled on parts of the Malabar coast.
Stop. Africans who also settled along the parts of what coast?
Malabar.
Hold that. I want you to get me the map. The red map.
It's a map.
Give me the map. Here we go. This is the same map from Duke University. The Lost Tribes map. Normally we use this for Africa, but this is another part of the map. That map, that wasn't the full map. That's just the Africa portion. This is the rest of that map Bishop uses all the time. With India and China, that's the rest of it. Now.
There's actually 3 maps. There's another one.
Yeah,
it's
3
a
maps.
Middle Eastern one.
Yes,
that
Europe,
too.
Yeah. So blow it up some. I want to deal with India here. Yup. It says Zapata. Ophir, 1,000. Ophir was Solomon sailed here, and we Solomon sailed here, and when Solomon sailed somewhere, we would usually stop off and live there. Okay, so it's believed that Ophir is India. We've heard that. Most scholars agree that Ophir is somewhere along the Indian Ocean or India itself. It's believed to be that, or somewhere along the Pacific Ocean, somewhere. Anyway, Ophir, you have Bamba, you have Beni Israel, black Jews. Konkan Coast. See it in the line on the left? Konkan Coast. Look at that. Konkan Coast.
Right.
Malabar Coast. Black Jews. Goshen. Black Jews. So when it says Africans settled there, it's not talking about Africans. It's talking about Israelites. That's why they had slave trade right here. They were selling these people here from India when the Portuguese gained power. Now go back to the book again. I'm going to show you. Go back to the last book. Read Africans again.
Africans who also settled along parts of the Malabar coast.
Us, CDs, go ahead.
During the 17th and 18th centuries.
Later on, go ahead.
These were black Jews.
Whoa. These Africans were what?
Black Jews.
They were black Jews. Go ahead.
Descendants of African slaves.
How can a black Jew be a descendant of an African slave? Because African slaves weren't Hamites. They were Jews. That's what this book is telling you. It's the CDs. That's us, Israelites. So that's why they had slave ports in India, because they were selling those Jews from India. Read again. These black Jews what?
These were black Jews, descendants of African slaves.
Descendants of African slaves, go ahead.
Who had left Goshen.
That's the same map. Goshen Jews. Black Jews again, go ahead.
And Kerala in southern India to come and settle on that coast.
Malabar, go ahead.
Most became domestics.
Most became slaves, go ahead.
And intermarried with local inhabitants.
Mingle ourselves with Elam.
And other Jews.
and other Israelites that resided there. Go ahead.
The Portuguese were responsible for settling African slaves along parts of the Malabar
The
coast.
Portuguese conquered portions of India, and they enslaved us there. Along with Elam and the Sultans, they got together and they sold us. Go ahead.
Especially around Goa, which became one of its headquarters in the 16th century.
Go ahead.
The Italian scholar and traveler Pietro della Valle reported that blacks from East and West Africa.
Blacks from East and West Africa. Go ahead.
Guineans and Mozambicans were sent by sea to the Portuguese territory.
To these same areas. Why? They bought them what? With who? With the rest of their people that they enslaved. The Jews. Go ahead.
The Portuguese made their black slave domestics bearers and guards for their escorts. The women were often taken as mistresses.
Took their women as whores. Made our sisters their prostitutes. Like Ishmael did. These nations are the worst. But this book tells you that the African descendants of African slaves were black Jews. They were Israelites. The original ones. Not these guys today. That's causing these problems in the world today.
Hey, Deacon.
Herod's babies. Yeah.
So just
Haman's babies too.
With the Jews that were in Goshen and Karela, a lot of them, just like the Beta Jews in Ethiopia, a lot of them were taken to Israel and live there currently today. So in Goshen and Karela, it's only about maybe 20 or less families of the actual Jews that live there. The rest of them are being persecuted in Israel right now. And they was protesting about the racism there.
Yes, they call them falashers. Yes. They call them Beta Israel. That's our people. That's our people there. Those are our people. Every last one of them. Okay? Now give me the map again so we don't lose the thought. Blow it up some. Go to Arabia real quick. Go over. You see Gulf of Oman. You have blow it up some. You have let me see. Jewish sea kings. It says Hinyar, pre-Muslim. That's before Islam. Yathreb, Judaized in pre-Muslim times, now called Medina, to the top, above Mecca. That was our town before Muhammad conquered it and named it Medina. It was called Yathreb. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were there first. Go up. Khaybar Jews. Seaport from David to Amaziah. That was our seaport, that area there. Seaport from David to Amaziah. Aqaba. Go up. Israelite immigrants. 10,700 BC. Jerusalem. Obviously. Baghdad. Jewish. Babylonia. Israel was there in Baghdad because the slave port was there earlier. Go down. Go over to cities of the Medes. That's Northern Kingdom was brought over here during the time of Syria. 720 BC. Northern Kingdom is here. Southern road to India. This is all referred to as Tartary. This area here, Tartary. We're going to deal with that also, Lord's will. Go over. Parthian capital. Go up to the top. It says founded as Jewish colony, 430 AD. Go up real quick. Let me see something real fast. Yeah, watch this. Greeks and Jews on North and Persian times. Right? See that there? Cimmerians, Jews in Thessaly to the top, Thessalonians to the top. In Russia to the left.
So Scythians arrive
around 600 BC. That's us too. Go down. I'm trying to see something real quick on if I can see it. I think I mentioned Khazars here too.
Up top, right here to your left.
Yeah, right
to your
there.
right. I'm sorry.
To the right. See that there? Go up. Khazars come around 400 BC. See what that's Edom. Edom there. Khazars south 400 BC. Edomites migrated over there. The Israelis over there, that's them right here. It's estimated that they arrived here around this time. All right? Go down.
You got Jews in Thessaly. That's
Jews
Thessalonia.
In Thessaly to the left. Yeah, that's to the left. So I may go down. Go down to the right. We see Bakata. Go down. Jewish corpse. What did I say there? Tashkent. Tashkent, but it says Jewish had a large Jewish corpse. Said a military.
Probably the Garrett.
Go over. Now we're going because India and China are next door. Go over. You got the Silk people. I believe that's us as well. We brought the Silk over to them. Moses taught here. I don't know about that. Moses ain't the right. Not the same Moses as a different kind of Moses. A different guy named Moses here. Aramaic something. I don't know what that says. Go up to the top. Genghis Khan had Jewish Mongol troops. That's us. Mongol Jews persecuted by Christians. That's us over there too. Go down. It's all going to make sense after a while. Synagogue over here, Peking. Synagogue 3rd century. 4 synagogues in Xianfu. Go over. Hang Chao. Great Massacre of Jews, 854 AD. That's us there. Jewish records in Kaifeng up here. That's us there too. Okay, that's all I want. That's all I want. So let's go back to where we were at. Go to. Give me Isaiah 11. 11:11.
Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time.
He's going to gather all, he said all 12 the first time. He's going to gather all 12 the second time. It hasn't happened yet. Go ahead.
To recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
Come on.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel.
The nations are the outcasts of Israel. They go by those names. The outcast, come on.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the earth.
He will gather the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the earth. That's where Israel is. So you got Assyria. That's like but that's in between Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey. You have Egypt. This goes into like part of Sudan and so forth. Pathros is Upper Egypt. Cush is Ethiopia. Elam is Iran, was also part of India as well. Shinar is Iraq. Hamath is Syria. And the islands of the sea is the islands on this side of the ocean and the islands on the other side of the ocean as well. Seychelles, Mozambique, Papua New Guinea, Polynesian, that's the islands of the sea. Every island you think of, we're on. Mediterranean, we're on. We're there. Cape Verde, San Tome, we're on them islands. Caribbean, we're on them islands. Right. Papua New Guinea were on those islands. Fiji were on those islands. Solomon Islands were on them islands. Islands of the sea. We're everywhere. Israel is remnants of Israel are everywhere. The bulk is here. Okay? Now, get me Acts 2 verse 5.
Hey, Deke, I forgot to mention, too, about Goa, what we read. It said that the Portuguese, they extended the Inquisition of Jews to India.
Wow.
In the 1560 by John III of Portugal.
Wow. So they hunted us there.
Yeah. They're Christianizing them.
And that's how the slavery pretty much started. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. That's when a lot of CDs fled into the forest because of that.
Wow.
And also, Dick, I don't know if you're going to get there, but with the Zanj, because we all know about the rebellions that happened over here in America, but there was also a Zanj rebellion that happened in 869 in Iraq. I don't know if you're going to touch on that. About the Zanj rebellion.
Yeah, we can still do the Zanj. I'm still done with the Zanj because there was a Zanj place in Ethiopia to India. They were in those areas, so that's fine. Read that. Acts 2.
Acts chapter 2 and verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that they heard every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born?
Come on.
Parthians and Medes.
So these are Jews in these lands. Jews from Parthia. That's Persia, Iran. or India. Go ahead.
And Elamites.
Elam goes again. Persia is Iran. Elamites is India. Iran is the same landmass. Go ahead.
And the dwellers in Mesopotamia.
Iraq.
And in Judea.
Judea is Judea.
And in Cappadocia. And Pontus. And in Asia. Phrygia and Pamphylia. In Egypt. And in the parts of Libya and Cyrene.
About Cyrene is Cyrenaica. Go ahead.
And strangers of Rome.
Italy.
Jews and proselytes.
Jews that converted back to the laws of Moses. Go ahead.
Crete.
Crete is the island of Greece.
And Arabians.
Israel and Arabia, like Yathrib. Go ahead.
We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God.
So Elamites and Arabians, we've been reading that all day. Elamites and Arabians, that's our people we've been reading about all day. They're in Elam and Arabia. Give me Esther 1:1. We've been there for a long time. How long? Esther 1:1.
Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia.
What did he reign from?
From India even unto Ethiopia.
This Ahasuerus is Xerxes the First. If you've seen the movie 300, that's Ahasuerus. Xerxes the First. Xerxes the First. Now, get chapter 3, verse 8.
Chapter 3 and verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus.
Haman would be your Israelis today. The ones that Candace Owens is going after, that's Haman today. That's his people. Those are his peoples. Go ahead, 3 verse 8 again.
And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus.
He said to Xerxes the First, the Persian king, go ahead.
There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people.
It's a certain diaspora of people that's in your realm. Us. Go ahead.
There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all thy provinces of thy kingdom.
In all the provinces of your kingdom, there's people scattered. So what were his provinces? Ethiopia to India, or Abyssinia to India. Israel was throughout all of his provinces, 127 of them. From Ethiopia to India, Israel was there already. Go ahead.
And their laws are diverse from all people.
And we were keeping our commandments while in these lands. That's why that map is there. I showed you I was in red. We've been there. Go ahead. And India, remember I said earlier, India and China are literally next door. Their lands overlap. You can walk across to China from India. You can walk there. Not walk, but you know what I'm saying. They border each other. They're literally on the same border. Go ahead.
Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for them. It is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
Oh, snap. Come on.
Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
Don't let them live. They're going to be problematic in the end. They have laws separate from yours, king. Go ahead.
If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
Kill them all.
And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hand of those that have the charge of the business.
He said, I'll fund the genocide myself. That's why these guys over there in Israel today have no problem bombing Palestinians. It's in their nature to do these things. They were a warlike and violent and evil people. And here's the kicker. When you read Esther, the reason why he wanted to kill the Jews off so bad, I'm going to tell you why. He found out that Mordecai was a Jew. He said, kill the whole race off. Damn. Why? Some of y'all may have read this a billion times and not know why. Haman was just evil. That's just a part of it. Mordecai was of a line of a man named Kish. Kish was of the family of King Saul. Damn. King Saul killed Amalekites off. One of the first feats of our king, the first king we got, well, second king really, but first king we got officially was Saul. And the first order he was given was to massacre and kill off the Amalekites. And he tried. He wasn't successful. And Haman was a descendant of the Edomites that got away. So when he figured out that Mordecai was a descendant of the very same man that tried to eradicate his race, he said, kill his race. That's what they do. So Edom today, they know these niggas are the descendants of David and Saul and Aaron. Yo, destroy them. That's why they're number one on God's hit list in Psalms 83. Because they know who's who. They know they brought David's sons over here. They know they brought Saul's sons over here. Aaron's sons over here. The bulk of the royal lineage is here. I thought the truth started here.
Right.
I thought a conspiracy to destroy us started here. Not Africa, not India, not the Philippines, here. Because the royal line is here. You understand?
Play that clip.
Joshua's line is here. Yes.
With the eugenics to try to eradicate the tribe of Judah.
Yeah, play that real quick. Play that real quick. But that's why. You find it. Let's read that while he finds it. Let me know when you find it. Read that. Or let me know when you send it to them. Yeah. Read that.
To bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha.
Watch.
The Agagite, the Jews' enemy.
Agagite was the king Agag of the Amalekites in 1 Samuel 15. He was a descendant of Amalek, the same family that Mordecai's family tried to kill off. That's why he hated him so much. Read on.
And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, and the people also to do with them as it seemeth good to thee.
Because the king trusted Haman. He said, yo, man, do your thing, man. You want to kill him off? Go ahead, do it. I don't care. Do what you got to do. There are problems in my kingdom. I trust you. You're second of the kingdom. You're under me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people, of every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after the language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
So when the Portuguese arrived in India, the conversation with the Persians was the same. Remember, this is Edom having a conversation with Elam to destroy the Jews in his provinces. Then the Portuguese arrive in India and talk to the Sultan and do the exact same thing to the exact same people later on. It's not a coincidence. These Portuguese are Amalek. So Jewish, that's them. I'm going to show y'all that later on. Who financed the ships? Who navigated the ships? I'm showing y'all. Who's behind that? I'm going to show y'all. So the same thing that happened during Esther's time happened during this time. These bastards are the freaking worst. They are the worst.
Bring it out, D.
They've always hated us. From then till now. Play the video.
That's why the Lord said he would have war with Amalek from
generation to generation. Go ahead. He's in a war with them through us. Go ahead. Until he comes here himself. It finishes the job. Go ahead.
Was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community.
Pause! Margaret Sanger's objective was to destroy the tribe of Judah among the African Americans. That was their target. Margaret Sanger was a so-called. I believe she was a so-called. If I'm not mistaken. I don't care. I eat them either or. But the fact of the matter, I tell you what, even if she's not, the doctors behind Planned Parenthood were all hired as Amalek. The women, the nurses. That I know for certain. So he's making it clear that the main target of eugenics or Planned Parenthood of aborting children was to attack the African Americans. Play it again. Damn, this thing is crazy.
Well, she was in Amalek herself, but she had a lot
ties.
Of Amalek partners.
Yes,
helping
she did.
Her out.
Yes,
so
that told her who was who.
Yes, go ahead.
Yep.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism.
Pause it. And the reason why eugenics was born in the United States, but it came from Germany, because Germany had an ideal of creating the most perfect white race. And what ended up happening was during World War II, when black folks were enlisted in the armies and we went over there to Germany, we were blowing out the German women, banging them out. And we made what's called Afro-Germans or brown babies. So the white folks back then said, listen, you got to stop having sex with these niggas or we're going to sterilize you. So they began to sterilize the white women that married the black men over there. And those brown babies or Afro-Germans, a lot of them who passed for white, were shipped off and given to white families and were forced to forget their culture and heritage. The ones that passed to us was thrown in the ghettos, and it was terrible for them. But that whole program of sterilization started with them trying to eradicate black babies from white wombs. Damn. Then they took that and they brought it over to the Americas to eradicate black babies out of black wombs. So black babies out of white wombs in Germany and black babies out of black wombs in America. That's where it stems from. It was called the National Abortion League. So that sounds too, evil. Change it around. Make it Planned Parenthood instead. That sounds more inviting. Play now?
Hey, Deke, and her husband was Amalek.
Yeah, I knew somewhere along the line she married they're involved. They're involved in some way. Press play.
With the intent of eliminating the tribe of...
What happened?
No, it's a start from the beginning.
It's up from the beginning.
Yeah. It's not that long.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them. With the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
With the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
That's all. So listen, man. When we know what we're talking about up here. We know what we're talking about. Those of y'all who choose to argue with us and oppose, Malcolm knew it. Even the revolutionaries, Garvey, they knew. But Esau, the worst of the worst, the worst of the nations, they know exactly who came over here. That's why they say 1619. They said that's David's sons got over here. They know because we got here earlier than that, but they don't count from 14. They said no. They arrived here in 1619 because 350 years after that we had the turbulent 60s. That's when all the revolution started. Well, Garvey first earlier on, but the primary turbulence started with Garvey, but Malcolm, Martin. They said, okay, these guys are that line. We got to kill them off because they know Judah's over here. The truth started with Judah. Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, the truth, they know. These weren't regular men. Medgar Evers, these weren't regular men at all. They were not regular people. So I'm going to stop it on that. Oh, and this to add also, when King Cyrus ruled over Persia, India was a part of the Persian Empire. So when we read about Elam or Elam or Parthia, it's pretty much the same thing. India, Persia, Iran, it's pretty much the same thing. All right, just to add that on there. All right, so I'm gonna land on that. Hope you guys got something out the lesson. I got through my page, all praises. We got way more to go. So Lord's will, we're gonna cover this thing, man. We didn't get to the ships. Well, we got to the ships, but we got to the Arab slave ships. But I got some. We're gonna go into the. Next time, we're going to go into the testimonials of the people who were on the ships. Since you guys don't believe they existed, will you believe the people who were on the ships? Will you believe it then? So stay tuned for that. Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. It's a wrap.
Hey, let's give it up. Give it up. Give it up. All praise the Most High. Fire. Once again, Israel, make sure you share this with your family. All right, that dumb doctrine is going around, and it really is a dumb doctrine. Let's get to these announcements. All right, remember, Israel, subscribe to Our Hidden History Radio on YouTube. All right, hit the notifications button so you know when we go live. All right, you don't want to miss an episode. Also, subscribe to IYC Philadelphia and IYC Philadelphia in the Classroom to get camp videos from the deacon, captain, and officers of IUIC Philly. You can donate to Our Hidden History on PayPal. You can donate to IUIC.Philadelphia at IsraelUnite.org. In the comment section, put OHH. You can donate to the Booster Club also so we continue to spread this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth where those ships took us. All right, you can donate on PayPal to IUIC.fundraising@israelunite.org. Subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from the leadership of IUIC, and tune in next with Raven and Wolves, if they are coming. Yes, with Deacon Malafia. I know they're starting something new soon, so those will.
Yeah. All right, so all praise. That's it.
No,
Missing people?
No, yes sir, yes sir.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Missing persons. We have Naya Sivan Bacon. All right. So one is 17-year-old and one is 1 year old. 1 year old.
I think it's Nayania. Nayania and Sivan. Bacon. Damn. Her and the baby?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's a female and a male that's missing. Nayanya was last seen on September 12th wearing a black bodysuit, tan pants, and sandals. The clothing description of her son, Sivan, is unknown. All right, so if you do see either of these two, please let your local authorities know, and let's find our people.
10 days ago. Okay.
10 days ago, yeah. All right, we've been hearing it every single day on every single class. Israel, make sure you support for the land fund. All right, we want to celebrate our own feast in our own place, so we can do it with our own terms. If you believe that, send in your funds now to PayPal at Israel at israelunite.org. In the comment section, put land. All right, next. And lastly, Shalom, we're seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. Pull out your phone and hit that QR code. I know the whole panel is going to definitely hit that QR code today, Deacon. I have a lot of feedback.
What happened?
I think we have a lot of feedback today for IT League. I'm disturbed. I'm very disturbed.
Okay.
Yes.
Disturbed and perturbed.
Yes. I'm flabbergasted. I don't know other words to say it.
Astounded.
Yes.
Damn.
They took it to new levels today.
New levels, new devils.
New levels, new devils. They wouldn't even answer my question. I said, why? He just looked at me.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
We had a really interesting...
You know I was doing good till you mentioned anything.
We had a really interesting interruption today. Hopefully that won't happen again.
Yeah, please.
Never. Anyways.
It was a shipwreck.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
It was very, very bad.
Yeah. Very bad. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Lord's will we be here next week or no? I don't think so, right? Or is the last one before Tabernacles?
Yeah, it's the last Sunday before Tabernacles. We should be here. It's the
31st. Yes, 27th. Yeah. All right, so Lord's will see y'all next week. Looking forward to going through the slave ship testimonials. Next Lord's will. So next one will be slave ship testimonials will be the next topic, all right? So stay tuned for that. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.